Okay, I figured I'd put out a video here while I'm still playing post-holiday cleanup and don't have much time to work on my G1 review. I'm actually feeling kind of bad about that because, I mean, that has been in the works for months and months, and I have a few different people right now asking me, oh, when's that going to be done? I'm really, really excited to see how it turns out. Well, okay, when I do have it finished, it's probably going to be 3 videos long, 2 or 3, like one per... I think 3, because 1 per every episode we're going to be going over. Major episode, that is, not just like a one-off sort of thing, because some of them were multiple parts long. But, okay. Anyway, right now, though, I feel really bad because I keep having to push it back, but yeah, I am about as tied down as I could be after the holidays, so, okay, but... In the meantime, since you guys kind of seem to like me reacting to Mr. Enter's worst list, I figured I'd go another step with that and react to a best list. But the problem there, though, looking through YouTube, there are not as many best lists as there are worst lists. There are a lot of worst lists floating around out there, but yeah, there are some best lists, but from people I don't really know as well. Not that I know, like, Mr. Enter personally, but I mean, I know kind of what he's about. I mean, I've watched him enough, so yeah, people you don't really know anything about. I mean, I think you gotta kind of know what you're getting yourself into before you do this stuff. So anyway, what I ended up settling on was DRWolf's 10 best episodes of season 4. DRWolf doesn't have, I think, a best list overall for MLP, but he does do it season by season, and I think actually reacting to his best of season 4 might be fun because, yeah, I have videos for every episode of seasons 5 and 6. They're not unwatchable like some of my older reviews are, or well, I don't know if it's unwatchable. It's me talking unscripted, and that goes on a while for reasons you can probably guess just hearing me try to get everything out right here. But anyway, but yeah, so seasons 5 and 6, I mean, I think that it's not too hard to see what I think of those, just going back and watching my videos. They don't drag too long, I hope, and reacting to Mr. Enter's video, his 10 worst episodes list, that was all about seasons 1 through 3, so 4, I think, is, like, actually the perfect season for me to, yeah, talk about right here. So, yeah, actually, Mr. Enter, he has a best list too, but I didn't want to make this all about him. So, okay, we're gonna react to DRWolf's 10 best episodes of season 4, and, call back what I thought of that. So, okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Season 4 of MLP has left quite the impact on the fandom. There were some questionable choices that left me scratching my head, and even a few disappointing moments that made me cringe. But overall, we've gotten a very solid set of 26 episodes. There wasn't a single story that didn't give us something to admire. We got multiple episodes for each of the main 6, while the CMC also had their moments to shine. We were given a wealth of new songs and even a few interesting new characters. The animation continues to improve, and the writers introduced a season-long story
Season 4,
We've come to enjoy
it is my favorite season of the last 4, so I actually still think it's a little overrated, but no, Season 4 was a winner for me. I am a fan of Season 4.
All of the above. Well, after reviewing every episode of Season 4, I've come up with my top 10 picks. Let's see if any of your favorites made the list. Number 10, Maud Pie. I think Maud surprised a lot of us when she first showed up.
We're off to a good start here.
Good way.
For me, anyway.
Being a somewhat unconventional character, the MLP staff managed to leave quite the lasting impact on the fandom with Maud. And her interactions with the main 6 gave us more.
She seems to be a really, really polarizing character.
Let's see you beat that.
That was pretty funny, and she doesn't even care, just like, yeah, I can throw a rock a couple miles.
What I admire most about this episode, though, is the fact that I couldn't predict what kind of direction they were going with the story. Was Pinky going to learn about accepting?
But yeah, she's a polarizing character, and okay, that.
No.
yeah, some people think she's annoying or flat. Some people think that the brilliance of her is in the little details and the comedic timing is really good. I'm more in that second camp, and I think, you know, I'd rather have a character they're really trying to do something new with, really trying to do something interesting with, than just, I don't know, a meme-type character. I mean, this episode definitely had ambition. I'd probably put it a little higher, actually.
She doesn't like candy, but still treasures every one of them because Pinky gave them to her. I say kudos to the writers for presenting both a character and a lesson that
showed that Maud kind of does some of what the main six were trying to do at the end. Like, she's willing to go with stuff that she doesn't necessarily love because there is something there that's important to her.
I don't really like candy.
Actually, yeah, some of the deadpan humor of this episode, I don't actually mind seeing it again. Something like the first example of Maud's poetry really got me there. And total 180 here.
Years for a new rarity-centered episode, my expectations were rather high. But given that Dave Polsky had never written a story about rarity before, I was feeling a bit worried about whether he could pull it off.
As you should have been.
Mr. Polsky did not disappoint. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised with how well this episode
well, I mean, some of you might be familiar with how I start to question the show when it really tries to go for something dramatic. This was kind of an early example of that to me. Like,
take on those who can betray your trust.
Oh really? Just like they can show up at a competition with your design, and because they got there first, you have no power to stand up and say, "That is mine! I can prove it! I have several witnesses proving that this is mine, including a princess of Equestria."
And because of that, she inspired others to follow in her example.
In theory, this episode in practice, like the second she started singing that song that was like overplaying her, yeah, oh, I'm so generous, I love being generous, it fulfills me, like that was playing it up so much, right there. I called exactly what this episode was going to do, and how it was going to do it, cynically, admittedly, but, yep, it didn't let me down. It was, every bit was as overplayed and wooden as I thought it was going to be. And it's a fan favorite because, I mean, well, it's kind of touchy-feely show. It attracts fans of stuff like that, so I'm in the minority, at least among the fan base.
Being the focus of an episode. I believe that this is Sweetie Belle's best story in the entire series. And once again, I was pleasantly surprised.
Sister Hooves Social single-handedly turned Sweetie Belle into my favorite Cutie Mark Crusader. She is precious in a way that you do actually see from just a very small percentage of kids. Like, every so often you'll find a kid who is, like, genuinely sweet, like...
Something that I really hadn't considered before, but comparing these two pairs of sisters makes for a brilliant bit of writing. On top of that, we get
it was a nice idea in theory. I actually thought they kind of tried to turn Sweetie Belle and Rarity into,
and future. All while throwing in some very impressive bits of animation
something
to
that they
show
really weren't before to make that
each
work.
timeline.
But I'm ragging on this episode too. I actually do like this episode. I think that Luna is great in this episode. The visuals are great. But, nah, I thought that they kind of, like, actually I said before, Sister Who's Social, I thought that it kind of managed to portray Sweetie Belle as, like, that rare kid who really is that sweet even in the face of adversity, and then this episode tried to take it in more of a cliche direction.
Seen this twist coming. When Fluttershy became Flutterbat, there was a collective squeal of glee heard throughout the majority of the community.
Well, I think that everybody predicted that something was happening when they were building that up, but
provides even further testament to Flutterbat's lasting effect on the fandom. I can look
everybody
back at
loves
this
the
moment
novelty of
time and
Flutterbat,
time
the
again
episode
and
itself.
love it all the more.
Like, I actually had a friend that did a few crossover blogs, not videos, blogs with. He said that Fluttershy's his favorite character. He loves Flutterbat. This episode is his least favorite in the entire show. I don't go that far, but I do think it's kind of... Well, that is kind of funny, yeah. But, no, overall, I thought this episode was a little clunky. It seemed like the show came in kind of off its game. It kind of overplayed Applejack. The whole debate, it kind of overplayed, just like sort of hamming up everybody being like a lynch mob just for the sake of And indeed it won't.
Mind seeing
That cliffhanger. But,
in some future season.
yeah, it seemed like they overplayed the whole, oh, down with the bats, just for the sake of putting Fluttershy on the losing end and then working it back to the winning end.
Number 6.
So it had its moments, but yeah, I wouldn't have that. Now you're talking!
Alone shows a clever reference that connects very well to the story at hand. We get a great character moment from Fluttershy when she shows that she's taken the lesson of bats to heart by standing up for herself early on. But of course,
she's taken a few different lessons to heart, and in fact, bats is probably one of the least connected to that.
Seeing the return of Flutterguy was another twist that none of us could see coming, and yet fits so perfectly into the story's
I didn't expect
concept.
it.
The music is also especially catchy. There are some
I know, very catchy, and just like the whole montage there, it's just like this huge burst of just joy. It does a pitch-perfect job of conveying how into this Fluttershy gets, and yeah.
When you realize that your expectations may not actually be what happens. That by itself is a pretty good message.
Showing Fluttershy able to avoid what she's afraid of, her fears, and like having it be so much more than she expected. Like that was brilliantly conveyed. And yeah, that too. That was a very nice bit of nuance at the end.
That one sentence from Fluttershy turned a fairly relatable and worthwhile message into a far more relatable and fantastic message. Thus
I would say it was already fantastic in a lot of ways, but yeah, that made it even better, so yeah, Philly Vanilli, one of my favorites from the season. I think I'd even put it a little higher than that. So, okay, yeah, and he split this into 2 videos, and I do have the other one right here ready, so
in the meantime, I hope you'll leave your comments on the entries we've looked through thus far. How would you
I might be a little late for that, but
to the rest of season 4? Do you have any thoughts on which episodes made it into the top 5? Leave your initial thoughts in the comments below.
I like that he encourages feedback, encourages discussion, because, yeah, that's part of the fun here, just like bouncing ideas off each other, but, okay, and yeah, to answer his question, love his choice of Philly Vanilli, love his choice of Mod Pie, probably, I mean, no way around that, yeah, Rarity Takes Manhattan's probably going to be on most people's lists. I thought it was an imitation of what a story that actually warrants that much drama would look like, but, okay, yeah, Rarity Takes Manhattan is probably my least favorite episode of the season, just because it messed that up enough so that I didn't like it overall, and that doesn't happen very much. Like most of the episodes, even the ones that are nothing special, it's like, well, okay, but maybe a marginal thumbs up, because that's still more than good enough for what it is, as this kind of show. But I mean, so the only ones I really give thumbs down to at all, and in fact, I think I've only done that enough times for maybe my own bottom 10 list, maybe not even that, but, yeah, well, I could make a bottom 10 list, but I might have to put an episode or 2 on it that I didn't actually dislike, but yeah, either the ones that are just too lazy, too just nothing, that, like, yeah, they don't even belong in the show, or the ones that maybe try to do something ambitious, but just crash, but yeah, and that doesn't happen very much, so Rarity Takes Manhattan being my least favorite of the season might not actually be as significant as it sounds, but didn't like it overall. Anyway, and then the other 2, For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils was decent, what's it called? The bat, Flutterbat, it has a name, just Bats, exclamation point, right. That's okay, but probably another one of the lesser ones of the season, actually, to me, but, okay. But even if he puts all my favorites on here, which I don't think he will, but, yeah, there would still be, like, all the episodes I thought were great. There weren't quite 10 of those in Season 4. There were plenty more I thought were good, but, so yeah. There's going to be variation no matter what is what I'm saying. Anyway, I have the other video up here, so